On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And it's a weird weather day here.
Oh my God, it's raining and then it is sunny and hot. And raining and sunny and hot. And here in California, when that happens, everybody talks about the big one.
Oh my God. I remember hearing about it all growing up, of course, in Northern California, where we had the big one. The big girl, which actually would be interesting for an episode.
Yeah. Well, we had the Northridge one here.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big one.
Yes.
It was scary. I remember as a 4-year-old, I remember waking up and I remember my dad in his underwear running down the stairs and running outside the house.
Bill said, fuck you.
Yeah.
Here. Do you remember having to make like little preparedness kits in school?
Yeah, those are so morbid.
We made them, and I remember at the end of the school year, it was always my favorite. We'd get to open them and eat them, and there was like a fruit roll-up and like canned peaches.
Uh-huh.
And like a Capri Sun or something.
Did I ever tell you that I had to go to summer school when I was in middle school? And my mom at the time worked by a refinery. And I remember sitting in the class. Just speaking of like emergencies, I remember sitting in the classroom. We started getting reports about like an explosion at the refinery. And I automatically thought of my mom because her offices were pretty close by. And I remember getting up, you know, that overwhelming feeling of like, I'm going to fucking cry right now. I don't want anybody to see. And it was like science class. And I remember like getting up and like going and like crying during class. And everything was fine.
We just worry sometimes. Well, that's a valid reason to worry or be concerned. Yeah. I remember one of my best moments in elementary school is I got to stay home from school sick, and I was so excited. My mom was probably so annoyed. I was watching like Maury and stuff. Oh
God, daytime TV.
So fucking
Did you see Wendy Williams at a fashion show?
She looked great.
She looked great.
She's back. I want her to come back. I need a resurgence. I would give her a TV show again.
I know. Hell yeah.
But I was home from school sick, and I grew up in a town where truly nothing happened. Very much a nothing happens town. And let me tell you, that day, something happened. That day, I just happened to be homesick. These two women were driving a red car. They got pulled over in front of our house. And I just remember looking outside, and they were face down on the ground in handcuffs.
In front of your house?
It was the most exciting
thing. It was like
thing.
God delivered you.
My mom, I think, was like, don't look.
Yeah.
Like, don't look outside, Spencer.
Would she do that? Because I remember my mom would do this. Like, if we were driving and there was a car accident and it was like bad,
don't look.
Don't look.
You know what? My grandparents, we've talked about this before. They were the grandparents from Gilmore Girls, 100%. Yeah. Just very lovely people. May they rest in peace. But very much the type to shelter. So like if we were driving through any area that they thought was quote unquote bad, they would be like, do not look at do not make eye contact. Duck down in the back seat.
Oh my God.
Like bullets were just going to be blazing.
Trauma.
Which, to their point, one of those areas I did get robbed at gunpoint later in life. So,
well, there you have it.
But very, very much a don't look. Yeah. Which, thank God, my mom truly was not like that. My mom...
Well, we talk about it. Your mom was Lorelai, and they were...
Fully. And so, but we grew up, like, going into the city all the time and stuff. And, like, so we very much saw a lot of things and, like, were exposed to a lot. Like, we were definitely not sheltered as much as other people were, but like, damn.
Yeah.
They were like, do not look. Cut to me committing all the crimes when I was a teenager. Like, I am the problem. The call is coming from inside the car,
Don't look at
Grandma.
you, actually.
Grandma, I'm going to actually steal your car in a couple of years.
Did you steal her car?
I don't believe so, but it doesn't matter. You could grow up in a car with grandparents telling you, don't look outside.
You know, it's nature. It's not nurture, I guess.
It's nature. I've had a wild hair in me since I could walk.
I know.
I actually flipped myself over on the little table at the hospital shortly after I was born. And
really? Oh, God.
One of the nurses said he's a little devil.
Well,
she wasn't wrong.
She was not wrong.
He had the devil in him, and he still does.
Do.
Yep. He's still in there somewhere. He comes out sometimes.
Sometimes. I'm looking at him right now.
Well, your aunt told you were the devil, so.
Oh, that's true. Thanksgiving 2024. Your parents thought you were the devil. The she-devil.
That's why we found each other.
I know.
God. Just two devils trying to figure it out. I'm really excited. We're recording a little early this week because I'm about to embark on a little road trip.
Donner Party, look out.
Oh, God.
He is traveling in his little wagon.
I know.
Across the U.S.
Across the U.S. I know. I'm excited.
I'm so sad I can't go with you.
I know. I'm going with our friend Alyssa, and I've never done like a trip like this, and I'm so excited because we're stopping in Arizona and Santa Fe, New Mexico, which I've never been to.
Yeah.
And all these different places, and I'm just excited to go on a road trip.
I know. I'm excited. So you're leaving. First, Cisco's leaving. He's driving to North Dakota and is going to be gone.
Yes.
And then you're leaving 2 days later.
You'd be all alone.
Oh, what will I do? I love being alone, but I'm going to miss you guys. But that's why I can't go. I wish I could go.
I know.
God. Take lots of pictures.
Oh.
Send me updates. Finally, I have shared my location.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So I've never even been that person. I'm no Huda. I'm not like, oh, everyone needs to share their location with me. I've never even done it like dating people or anything. I have the champs because we didn't live together. We just shared our locations because it helped us know like when they were coming over or whatever. And now I just have it. But I have most of my friends, I don't know, random throughout the years, we've shared locations. Like
I feel like it's a normal thing with friends, especially. Like everybody has everybody's location.
Or like I have single girlfriends who like they have their locations with me because I'm like, if they're dating and stuff, I'm like, I need to know where you are. I actually just had lunch with my friend Heidi, who I used to live with the other day, and we've talked about her before. That's who I lived with when we started this show.
She's the best.
The best. And we were having lunch the other day, and I was like telling her, oh, I saw you pass me when I was leaving the gym. And she's like, oh my God, no. I literally, right before we met for lunch, I was like, where is he? And I zoomed in on your little location.
Okay.
It's convenient.
It's convenient. I was so anti for so long. And then
we were on tour together. And I was like, Madison, you should share your location with me just because we're in these cities. And you were like, no.
Yeah, I just felt like, I was like, why?
As if I don't talk to you all fucking day. I know what you're doing all day long.
Well, yeah. Of course. So it's a, both sides to that.
Well, then it bothered me because I was like, you never share your location with me. Or like it would come up in conversation and I'd be like, oh, I didn't know where you were.
Well, then it got to the point where I'm like, out of principle, I'm like, I'm not giving it.
Which I respect. Listen, this is like, if that was an actual boundary, but I knew she was not sharing her location with me just to fuck with me.
Because he just wanted it.
I just wanted it so bad. I wanted to look at her little dot on the screen. Well, because sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll just be laying in bed at night and I'll pull up my little Find My Friends thing. I'm like, is everyone in their homes?
Well, now I do it. Okay, so we shared our locations for something. It was like something you were coming over. I don't remember what, but
you were coming to meet us at Disneyland.
Yes. Okay, so you were like, share your location because you were already in Disney and I was meeting you guys, so I had to meet up with you. And then I love it now. Like yesterday I was leaving the gym and I was like, I wonder what he's doing right now. And I like went to look and that's why I texted you. I'm like, where are you going? Because I saw your little dot moving.
See, she's the one I should have been worried about because even today we were on the phone, literally on the phone, knew where I was. And she was like, oh, you're passing blah, blah, blah road. And I was like,
yeah, it's fun.
We've given her a taste and now
I want everybody's.
Oh, it's fun.
I have Chris's. I have Alyssa's.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get my sisters on board too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See where they are.
I want Doll's location.
Yeah. We should call her after this and tell her we need it.
I have it from like Ella, like my little sister, when she came to visit me. I was at my last house, but she was like going to a concert with her friends. And I was like, do whatever, but share your location with me just so that if you go missing, I feel like I'm responsible for you when you're here. I don't have my brother's because he doesn't have an iPhone. I tell him he doesn't have a real phone. And then I have my older sister Olivia's. I have so many people. But I just actually, when you shared yours, it was the first time I had looked in a while at the Find My Friends thing. And I was sharing it with some people that I'm not even friends with anymore. And so I was like, remove.
Shit.
I know.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, but it fucking alerts people when you stop sharing your location.
Well,
which
good.
My sister, when she came to surprise us, she stopped sharing her location. I don't actually think I got a notification, but I had like called her and she didn't answer. And I didn't know she was driving here to surprise us, obviously. But I had called her and she didn't answer. And normally if that happens, I check her location because I'm where's she at? Like she's my sister. And she texted me and was like, oh, like I'm getting a gift for something. I didn't want you to see where I was or whatever. And I truly bought it.
That's smart. That's a good excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she peeps my location all the time. She'll be like, you're at In-N-Out. The champ, I remember when we were first dating, my sister like texted me because we were at a restaurant by his house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it's my sister. Oh, she was just texting me where we are. And he's like, what? It's a very, we're close.
Yeah.
We're stalkers.
I love it.
Yeah, he's the first guy that I've ever shared a location with, or vice versa. Well, my ex would not have shared location because he was cheating on me. So
I gotta ask Cisco for his, especially if he's gonna be traveling.
You should, because he's going on a long trip.
Yeah. But like, yeah, most of the time it's just not interesting.
I've never asked anyone, like dating wise, I've never been like, can you share your location with me? Because I think is weird. I didn't even actually mean to share it with the champ. I had meant to send it. Like that's what we would do. We would like send each other like, hey, leaving now, because you can send your location just for an hour or whatever. But one time I accidentally left it. He's like, I have your location, but here's mine. I was like, okay.
Aww.
Anyway, send me your location.
Speaking of locations, you want to hear about a little haunted room?
Ooh, I do.
Alrighty.
Or if you're in the Midwest, a haunted room. Didn't they say room?
I don't know. This is a listener email, and it says, Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Oops, wrong letter. Dear Madison and Spencer, my mom has been recommending podcasts to me since before I was born. So naturally, I typically tune her out. Sorry, Mom. When she mentioned your podcast name, however, I went, oh my God, I'm a bitch too. And immediately fell in love with your amazing personalities and the crazy things you two cover. I wanted to share a story of my haunted childhood bedroom with a plot twist, of course, bitches. When I was 7 years old, my parents got divorced, which meant 2 houses, 2 bedrooms, and most importantly, 2 Christmases. So I wasn't complaining.
Oh, yeah.
For 12 years, I alternated 1 week with my dad, 1 week with my mom. I'm not scared of the dark or what's under my bed or the dark closets. Nothing. At least at my dad's house, I wasn't. My mom's house was a whole other story. I hated my bedroom at my mom's house. Now, don't get me wrong. This was an amazing master bedroom with an attached bathroom. It was beautiful. However, every time I spent several hours in my room, I would get that feeling that someone was watching me. I was paranoid, and I always saw things out of the corner of my eye, had major anxiety in there, and headaches. It got to the point where I just could not sleep in my room and always slept in my mom's room. My mom eventually started getting the creeps from my room too. My dog and my cats refused to lie in there. Big red flags for us pet owners. Here's an important detail for later. It was a 2-story house with my bedroom being on the top floor. There was a cutout in the wall called a pass-through to help with heating and cooling. Anyway, in the early years of us staying in that house, we had a housemate who stayed in that room. I asked, and she never got the scary feeling I had. When she moved out and I moved into that room, my mom decided to have the massive pass-through closed up for more noise-canceling privacy in my bedroom. Fast forward years and years later, my mom is selling the house, and to do this, you have to have everything checked to see if the house is ready to sell. Get this. We had a guy come to check the furnace, which led to checking the carbon monoxide levels. Turns out we had high levels of carbon monoxide in one part of the house.
Shit.
My bedroom. Lo and behold, the guy tells my mom this can lead to hallucinations, paranoia, and headaches, all of which I had. This explained everything. Pets can sense gas leaks, which is why they avoided my room. Our old housemate didn't get creepy vibes because they stayed in the room when the pass-through allowed for better airflow. This also explained why the longer I spent in the room, the worse my paranoia got. My room wasn't haunted. It was gassy.
Damn.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the turmoil of my teen years and how I wasn't crazy after all. Well, maybe a little bit. Thank you so much for your amazing podcast. I hope I get to go to a show one day. Kaya.
Oh, Kaya, thank you.
Oh, that's scary.
I do. Anytime hot dog's acting weird, I never think it's haunted. Usually there's been times, but most of the time I'm always like, is there going to be an earthquake?
Oh, yeah,
they always
can
say
sense, or like a tsunami.
Yeah, something.
They can sense it.
Tsunami, mommy.
Tsunami, mommy, but gas is nothing to fuck with. That's scary.
And speaking of, gas comes out of your asshole. And I've got some for us. This first one says, my friend recently died of an overdose, and I explained his drug use to his wife. Now at least one friend is mad at me. A close friend of mine recently passed away from a drug overdose. He was a wonderful person that everyone loved, but he was an incredibly heavy drug user. Unlike anyone I've ever met, he had a near superhuman ability to function at a very high level on a variety of substances, and he was able to hide it from pretty much everyone.
Wow.
People like that amaze me.
I know.
Like when you find out someone, like they're like, you're like, oh my God, I love that person. And they're like, oh, by the way, they do a ton of, it's like, what?
Yeah.
He was always open with me and many others about it, but hid it from his wife as he knew she would have divorced him, which would have likely caused him to go deeper down the rabbit hole. He was a great dad, a loving husband, and was highly respected in his line of work. He passed away while he was away from his family, and I know he had been using. His wife called me looking for answers, and we spoke at length. She had found drugs a couple of times before and had a clue that he hid them. She had given him a hard time, but she didn't know the extent and admitted some willful ignorance on her part. She also knew that he had unsuspectingly taken something laced with fentanyl 2 years ago and had an overdose incident that put him in the hospital. She was upset and expressed guilt at not knowing the extent or trying to get him help, and admitted that he had been forced to go to rehab in his much younger years and that he hated it. I comforted her by explaining that he was a high-functioning user who was unlikely to change his ways after nearly 40 years of use. I explained that she shouldn't feel any guilt because he hardly ever showed signs of use. I also let her know that none of us, including her, could have saved him. Most of his friends gave him a hard time, but we always accepted that it was his choice and that he was the type of person who wouldn't have wanted her or anyone else to feel responsible for his actions. Apparently, his wife told others what I had told her, and I got a phone call from a mutual friend who was mad at me for telling his wife the truth. I explained that I didn't do it to disparage his legacy, but to explain the reality of the situation to his grieving wife and help provide her closure. As far as I'm concerned, his wife deserved to know, and hiding it wouldn't have helped. But my friend made me out to have been wrong. Am I the asshole?
I don't think so. You got put in a position where you had to either lie or you had to come clean, and you probably had to lie to her throughout their friendship anyway. Like,
it feels like he was just trying to give her some solace in those final moments of like, listen, this is the reality.
She knew.
She
knew how bad it was. She probably just needed to hear it.
Yeah. And I think that friend's got something weird going on. It's not breaking bro code or whatever. I don't know.
No.
Now, this next one says, am I the asshole for not telling my sister my niece knew she was going to die?
Oh.
About 3 months ago, my niece, 15, had to get her appendix removed. She caught an infection from the hospital and has had complication after complication since then. About a month ago, my niece texted and asked for a cute pair of pajamas and some Crocs for her to wear around the hospital. She had seemed to be improving, so I didn't think too much about her request. I picked them up and went to the hospital that day after work. When her mom left the room, she told me she had been seeing her best friend and her grandma, both dead, for a little while and knew she was going to die.
Oh shit, I just got the chills.
She made me promise not to tell her mom, to try to get her dad to visit, but also don't tell him. They're recently divorced and he abandoned her too, and to take care of her mom when it does happen. A few days ago, I got a call from her mom. Her heart stopped while she was asleep. They were able to bring her back, but it was still pretty touch and go. I stupidly said something about how crazy it was that she knew it was going to happen, and her mom asked what I was talking about. I told her about the conversation I had with my niece and how she swore me to secrecy. Her mom started yelling at me for keeping this from her and told me I wouldn't be allowed to see my niece. She eventually started letting me visit again because my niece was still asking for me, but I wanted to know if I was the asshole for not telling her.
You got put in a really tough position.
Kind of like the last one. Like you have this information.
I kind of think you're an asshole, and I say this because, and I'm sure your sister will be the same when like Leo and Hank are older. Like my sister's always told me, like, if I want the kids to feel comfortable to come to you, and they have come to me with stuff, but if it's something like that, I gotta tell. I couldn't live if my niece was like, hey, I'm dying, I don't want my mom to know.
Yeah.
I would have to tell.
But it's hard to know too if it's like, because it's kind of paranormal too, like seeing the deceased or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It sucks all around. Yeah, you're not an asshole, but I don't know. I'd probably have to tell.
Yeah, I'd probably tell too. It depends. It depends how the parent is too.
Yeah.
If the parent's cool, that's one thing. But if they're an asshole,
and I think it depends on age. Like the daughter is 15. She's not an adult. Totally. If she was an adult, it'd be a different story.
Definitely. Alrighty. Well, I'm up first this week, which means you should have a little side bitch for us.
I sure do. This side bitch is brought to us by the Waco Times, October 18th, 1907. And I went down a rabbit hole through the newspaper archives of incorrect obituaries.
Oh.
And newspapers having to correct them later on.
Uh-huh.
So I have an example of one.
Love that.
It says, report of death incorrect. Rena Smith is still living. Times Herald correspondence, Belton, Texas, October 17th. The report that was current yesterday to the effect that Rena Smith, the little daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Nelson K. Smith, was dead is incorrect, and she is still living, though little hope is entertained for her recovery. It is not known, however, just when she will be able to be brought home, though many friends here hope for good news of her condition. And there are quite a few instances in the newspaper where they've had to like post obituary retractions or obituary was incorrect. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to hearing more of those in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'll tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
All righty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin, baby?
All right, Geoff's girly. So I mentioned in my episode recently about the canonization of Saint Carlo Acutis.
That was such a cool story.
Well, get ready for this. That I stumbled upon some other wild stories that blew my mind when it comes to sainthood. And I just have to preface this. We always want to be respectful, but girls, some of these stories had me saying, what the actual fuck?
Oh, shit. Okay.
And you're going to see why. We're just going to get straight into it. I already gave you the breakdown of canonization and all of that in the past episode. So I feel like we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
We're students. We're ready for the next advanced class.
We're altar boys.
Yes. I'm going to kick us off with the story of Saint Lucia, or as she's often referred to, Saint Lucy, the patron saint of the blind.
Okay.
So St. Lucy was born around 283 CE in Syracuse, Sicily, into this very wealthy, noble Christian family. Her dad passed away when she was really young. I believe he was Roman. And then her mother, Eutychia, raised her. And it's assumed that her mom, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. It's Eutychia, Eutychia.
Yeah, or Eutychia.
Yeah. Well, apparently they presumed that she was Greek. Based on her name. By all accounts, Lucy was devout and made a secret vow of chastity to dedicate her life to Christ. She's like, I'm never going to sleep with anyone. I will be a virgin forever. But in a time when Rome still persecuted Christians, this wasn't just pious, it was dangerous. It was something that followed something that they didn't believe in.
Got it.
So her mom wants her to marry this wealthy pagan guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Lucy is was like, no way, I'm married to the Lord. Like, I will never have sex with a man, which basically obviously comes with getting married. And so she wants to like prove it to her mom that her religious path is the right one. So one day she goes and prays at the tomb of Saint Agatha, who's another Sicilian martyr. And miraculously, her mom was cured of this illness that she had been battling for most of her life.
Wow.
And so her mom's like, all right, maybe you are right. Maybe you are on the righteous path here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this gave Lucy the leverage that she needed. And she basically convinces her mom to give her dowry away to the poor instead of using it for marriage. And I was like, I've heard dowry so many times and I felt kind of dumb even having to look it up, but I had no idea what it actually was.
Isn't it like a cow or a...
Yeah, it's basically like something that the bride's family would give to her new husband when they got married. So like money, land, jewelry, or sometimes livestock.
Got it.
And it depended how ugly you were. So like...
Are you serious?
If you were heinous, right, then they're giving you the jeweled crown. They're giving you multiple cows.
You're lying.
I'm just kidding. I'm lying. Well, actually, I don't know. That's probably partially true. Now, back in Lucy's...
Hey, is that why my parents gave Cisco a bejeweled crown?
Yep. But it is important to note that in Lucy's case, her dowry was like a lot of money because her dad was wealthy, lest we forget.
Okay.
Instead of handing it over to this man that her mom wanted her to marry, she convinces her mom, and her mom does end up donating the entire thing to the poor.
Wow.
Which was part of what made her a legend in the early church. So, like, you know how we talked about how eventually throughout time there were all these different regulations to be deemed a saint.
Right. There was like the 2 miracles.
Right. And like you had to have like signs of holiness.
Yeah.
But this was pre, obviously, all of those regulations.
She
but
bought her way in.
She bought her way in. She said, I'm giving up my trust fund. Make me a saint.
I think anybody should be made a saint.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. The man that wanted to marry her was not thrilled about this.
Right.
He's like, girl, what the fuck? Not only do I not get the money, I also don't get the girl.
Yeah.
In fact, he found out about her religious beliefs and he rats her out to the Roman authorities for being a Christian.
What a bitch.
A bitch.
Fragile masculinity.
Toxic. Under Emperor Diocletian's brutal persecutions, that was essentially a death sentence for Lucy.
Damn.
The governor of Syracuse ordered her to renounce her faith and sacrifice to the Roman gods. But Lucy was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. I have felt this in my bones since I was a little girl. There's no fucking way. And so I guess there's reports that they tried to drag her to a brothel to shame her.
Oh my God.
But in a miraculous turn of events, her body became impossibly heavy when they tried to drag her. And there was no amount of oxen or soldiers that could move her.
No way. My jaw is dropping.
So they turned to torture. And this is where it gets wild. But it reminded me, remember I talked about that saint recently whose head allegedly turned into a thing of roses and all that. It's just, I love all these stories so much.
Me too.
But this is where it gets wild. So one version claims that her eyes were gouged out and they say that they did this as like a punishment to her. But there's other depictions that say Lucy did it to herself to deter any men from trying to be her suitors.
Okay.
She's like, I'd rather fucking gouge my eyes out. And like,
Gosh.
she meant it.
Wow.
But miraculously, when she was prepared for burial after she died, her eyes had been restored.
Oh.
They were back in her body. But it became this very famous symbolism because when you see St. Lucy and you look up pictures of her, she's holding a platter with her eyes on them.
What?
I'll show you a picture right here.
Whoa. That's cute.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Because of this, she became the patron saint of sight, blindness, and eye ailments. And it's also reported that the governor had ordered her execution by fire, but the flames wouldn't touch her. So instead, they had to use a sword, and they killed her in 304 CE. But she died proclaiming her faith, and almost immediately after, they began venerating her as a martyr.
Wow.
And again, in those early centuries, saints weren't canonized by this formal, palpable process by recognition of the church. So People loved her.
I mean, she would qualify with today's standards too.
Absolutely. And while we're on the subject of eyes, I want to talk about St. Paul, aka Saul of Tarsus.
Okay.
Before he was St. Paul, he was Saul. And Saul was not your normal neighborhood apostle, okay? He was super educated. He was basically, at the time, a professional, like, Christian hunter. Like, he would go door to door dragging Christians out for persecution.
Whoa, okay.
But then comes the origin story moment. He's on the road to Damascus when, bam, all of a sudden, he has this like cult leader prophecy, okay?
Oh, no.
Where Jesus himself says to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And Saul is then blinded for 3 days.
Oh, fuck.
And when his sight is restored, he does a total 180. He goes, he gets baptized, changes his name from Saul to Paul because it was biblical, and goes from being this Christian hunter to Christianity's #1 hype man.
Oh my God. I mean, I probably would too if I had that experience.
Well, and he became super famous and well known. And we're talking like missionary journeys from across the Roman Empire. He founded churches and he wrote parts like letters that ended up making it into the New Testament, like a big fucking deal.
Big deal.
But preaching about Jesus wasn't really a safe career path, again, under Roman rule, right? As we just learned about with St. Lucy. So Paul was arrested multiple times. He was beaten, he was shipwrecked, and eventually hauled back to Rome. And tradition says he was executed around 64 to 67 CE during Emperor Nero's Christian persecutions. And since he was a Roman citizen, he got the quote-unquote merciful death. But as soon as he died, he was pretty much declared a saint right away and became this apostle. And together, Peter and Paul, his apostle brother, are considered two pillars of the church today. And that's why
you always hear like Peter and Paul.
Yeah, Peter, Paul, and Mary or whatever.
Yeah.
So he is actually the patron saint of missionaries, theologians, writers, and rope makers. Because apparently he made tents and ropes as a day job. And he's typically depicted with a sword, not because of how he fought, but because of how he was executed, which was by the sword. And he was kind of like the first one, like we talked about Carlo Acutis, who was God's influencer. Well, he was kind of like Christianity's one of their first influencers going out and talking about how great Christianity was. So he went from being like completely anti to this missionary. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's funny. I'm thinking, because remember in the gallows, when I talked about gallows humor, how we talked about how the saints were named, how it's like they had such a crazy sense of humor.
Oh, when the saints.
Ooh.
Oh, when the saints. When the saints come marching in.
The saint that got burned alive, and now he's the saint of fire.
It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, next up we have the story of Olga of Kiev, and this is probably going to be my favorite story of the day because this is a girly who wanted revenge.
Ooh.
Saint Olga is the patron saint of widows and converts, but honestly, she could also be the patron saint of fuck around and find out.
Ooh.
The legend goes that this woman, Olga, was married to a man named Igor, who was the prince of Kiev. And when Igor got himself brutally killed by a neighboring tribe called the Drevlians, they bent down 2 trees. They tied him to the branches.
No.
Let it go and let him get ripped in fucking half.
Oh, hell no.
Well, for some reason, these people thought, well, they made a big mistake. They thought, yeah, and now we'll take his wife, Olga, and we're going to marry her off to one of our leaders, and we're going to take over the throne.
Oh, shit.
Wrong. So Olga says, okay, sure, yeah, send him over. Send over 20 of your best men to negotiate.
See, this is the kind of shit that I like where you think of a plan.
Uh-huh. She's like, send over 20 of your best men. And when they arrived, she had them buried alive.
Yes.
And then she tells the Drevlians, oh, you're going to have to send an even better delegation. So they do. She locks them in a bathhouse and burns it down, lights it on fire. And it didn't stop there.
Were they asking, like, where are all her men?
No, this was like all within days of each other, allegedly. Like days of her husband's passing.
Got it.
So she hosts this huge funeral feast for her deceased husband, and she actually invites the Drevlians. Like, she gave them drinks, got them drunk, and her soldiers ended up killing 5,000 of their men.
No way.
And then, she's not done, she laid siege to their capital city and took the fuck over. And then her final move, which is the most wild thing I've ever heard, is apparently she asked the men who came, like men from each of the households there, to give her 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each household as a tribute to her.
Okay.
She tied smoldering sulfur to their feet, let them fly home, and it burned down the entire city in one night.
Oh my God.
A fucking medieval drone strike.
Oh shit.
So insane.
A woman scorned?
Oh, hell hath no fury.
Uh-huh.
After all of that bloodshed and carnage, she then makes a spiritual 180.
Oh.
And she fully reinvents herself. It's like when people get sober and they become born again. I feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. I'm just saying. But she converts to Christianity and then gets fucking baptized by the Byzantine emperor himself, and then tries to bring Christianity back to Kiev, but not everyone was on board. Her own son resisted, but she did lay the groundwork for her grandson, Vladimir the Great, to eventually bring Christianity to all of Kiev.
Wow.
The Orthodox Church canonized her as equal to the apostles, which was like a super rare title. And that is the story of Saint Olga. She went from burying men alive to literally being canonized as a saint.
She's a diva.
She's a diva. She is that girl. She died in 969, and her tomb remained in Kiev for over 2 centuries, but it was destroyed by the Mongolian Tatar armies of Batu Khan in 1240. But the sarcophagus found in 1826 during excavations of the Church of the Tithes, which was conducted by architect Nikolai Efimov, was attributed as being Olga's, and it was moved first to the Historical Museum and then to the St. Sophia Cathedral.
Wow. And is it still there?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right. And then lastly, I'm going to take us out with St. Julian the Hospitaller.
Oh.
What do you think he's the saint of?
Hospitals?
More like hospitality. He's the patron saint of travelers, ferry workers, and hotel keepers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's also the patron saint of childless people, carnival workers, fiddlers, jugglers, murderers, and pilgrims.
Okay. What's his name again?
Julian.
Julian. Okay.
The hospitaller.
Hospitalier?
Julian was a nobleman who received a prophecy, I guess, when he was super young, that he would one day kill his parents.
Oh, no.
This was some voice told him when he was a super young kid. And he was horrified. He's like, I am never going to do that. I will never kill my parents. So he actually leaves his house growing up and tries to outrun fate, basically.
Okay.
But you cannot outrun fate, if we know anything from a Final Destination movie.
True.
Years later, Julian is totally happy. He's got a wife. He has a fucking castle. And one day, while he's out hunting, his parents show up unexpectedly to visit, and they take a nap in his bed.
Oh, no.
The story goes that he comes home, he sees 2 people laying there and assumes his wife is cheating on him. And without hesitation, kills them both.
Oh, fuck. So unintentionally.
It was his mom and dad.
Whoa.
When he realized what he did, he fucking spirals. He and his wife abandon everything. They leave their castle. They leave all their wealth behind, and they decide to spend the rest of their lives doing penance. And they set up a hospice for weary travelers, giving the food and shelter to anyone who needed it. And that is how he earned the title as the patron saint of Hospitaller.
Oh, wow.
His story...
Sorry, my mind's still blown because the whole time I'm thinking, oh, he's getting this download of like, I need to kill my parents. But plot twist. He did it on accident.
The story became huge. The Catholic Church never did like a formal papal canonization. Again, this was like pre that process being put in place, but he made it into the Roman Martyrology, which is the official saint calendar, and they hold a feast for him every year on February 12th. So he went from annihilating his family to becoming the patron saint of carnival workers and murderers.
Wow.
Quite a character arc, if you ask me. And that is some of the wildest canonizations, but I will be doing...
Yeah, part 2.
Oh, that part 2 is already on its way.
Hell yeah.
I've met some other
saints.
Interesting saints.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Well, now if you'll all just be a saint and excuse us while we take one more quick break, when we come back, Madison will tell us what had her spinning in her coffin this week.
Yes, I will.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Madison, what had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Okay, girlies. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite things ever. We are going to crawl back into bed for this coffin spinner.
Ooh, our little nap queen.
Little nap queen.
We were just talking about that. You're like, it is a little later than usual when we recorded. So she's like, I was like, oh my God, it's almost my bedtime. You're like, yeah, it's my nap time.
Yeah, baby. Okay. Love a nap.
Tell us.
We're actually going to be talking about something incredibly terrifying that happened under the covers.
Ooh. Was it your honeymoon?
No. We are going to deep dive into a real phenomenon that killed hundreds of young men in their sleep and actually inspired Wes Craven's 1984 film A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
Okay.
Spooky. Turn out the lights, Geoffs.
Yes. But before we start talking about nightmares, we have to talk about the real victims here because it unfortunately isn't a movie. It's about real people who went through hell even before these mysterious deaths happened. So, the people I'm going to be talking about are the Hmong people. They are an ethnic group from the mountains of Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and southern China. And during the Vietnam War, many Hmong were recruited by our CIA to fight in a secret war in Laos.
Ooh.
I know. I didn't know about this. So basically, during the Vietnam War, America didn't just fight in Vietnam only. They also fought in Laos. And the U.S. government asked the Hmong people to essentially help them. So the Hmong were like secret soldiers for the United States. And they would carry supplies. They would rescue our pilots if any of their planes were ever downed. And they fought against communist armies. But what's fucked up is that when the U.S. weren't successful in the Vietnam War, they packed up and left the Hmong to kind of fend for themselves. And then the Hmong were under a new communist leadership. So they were looked at as traitors and they were like hunted. So they ended up fleeing to refugee camps in Thailand. And then in the late 70s, America was like, okay, let's bring some Hmong people here to America. And at first, it was places like California and Minnesota because I guess churches and aid groups there offered to sponsor families and like the government would help with food and housing and schooling. But it was still really hard for these people because many Hmong people had never used electricity, cars, or even used money in the way that Americans did. They went from basically farming in the mountains to living in big cities. And on top of that, they were also obviously carrying huge sadness and trauma from war and losing family members. So the Hmong were safe from war now, but life in America was obviously really confusing for them and hard. And then something else terrible started happening.
Every episode that we've done lately, all the different coffin spinners that we've talked about, it's just so eye-opening, which is part of why I like doing this show, because I feel like it really teaches us so much that we otherwise probably would never learn about.
I know. It's totally eye-opening. So, let's talk about the deaths. In the late 70s, young...
Let's talk about death, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
In the late 70s, young and healthy Hmong men in their 20s and 30s started dying in their sleep. No warning signs, no sickness, no accidents. And these were all Hmong men who had recently immigrated to the U.S.
Like they weren't murdered. There was no wounds, nothing.
Nothing. Just went to sleep and never woke up. And reports of these strange deaths in the United States started popping up around 1977. Again, like I said, not long after the Hmong families had resettled. And by the early 80s, the deaths were happening often enough that the community was obviously terrified.
Yeah.
Some families said that their loved ones cried out or looked like they were struggling in their sleep, but others just kind of slipped away so quietly that no one even noticed until morning. So it's scary. People are just dying in their sleep for no reason. Altogether, I guess doctors tracked more than 100 of these cases throughout the 1980s, and eventually doctors even gave it its own name. It's referred to as sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome, or SUNS. And the mysterious deaths got so much attention that even big newspapers like the LA Times were reporting on them. So on February 26, 1981, the LA Times actually ran a story titled "Deaths of Laos Refugees Puzzle Officials." And I have the newspaper clipping, and on the top it says nightmare syndrome with a question mark. It told the story of Yong Lang Tao, a 47-year-old Hmong man who came to Portland from a refugee camp in Thailand with his wife and kids. One night he had labored breathing, and it was so loud that it woke his wife up, and she tried to shake him and wake up, but he would not wake up, and she realized that there was nothing that she could do and that he had died in his sleep. The article said that he was already the second Hmong man in Portland to die like this within 3 days.
What?
I know. Another Hmong man, Zhang Tao Zhang, only 29 years old, had also died suddenly in his sleep. And the county medical examiner said the deaths all looked the same. From the article, it says, quote, "All were very, very similar, all relatively young, who died during their sleep." But by that point, and that was from Los Angeles Times in February 26, 1981. But by that point, officials had logged just over a dozen of these unexplained deaths, but people suspected that it could have been higher. So my question, reading all of this, obviously, and what you guys are probably thinking is, what the fuck is happening?
Well, that's what's tripping me out. I'm like, what do you mean they were just dying in their sleep?
They were just dying in their sleep, and it was so weird because it was these Hmong men. I believe that there was one female, but yeah, it was all young, healthy 20s and 30s men. So what was going on? Even after doctors ran autopsies, everything came back normal, no heart disease or poisons or anything like that. The men were healthy. Eventually, I guess researchers realized that some cases were attributed to ventricular fibrillation, which I guess means that the heart's wiring kind of freaks out and the heart quivers instead of pumping. And
but in that many of them, I don't understand.
I know. And also, okay, that happens, but what's triggering that? So some people say, oh, well, maybe it's genetic and they're predisposed to something in their genetics. But doctors later connected some of the cases to Brugada syndrome, which is another heart condition that makes some people more prone to slipping in to weird heart rhythms at night. Others said that it must be linked to what these people went through, from being in refugee camps to chemical exposures like gas attacks and Agent Orange during the war.
Yeah.
And then the stress and trauma, obviously, of everything. There's also this theory that I have never heard about. I read about it on mentalfloss.com. I have never heard of this effect. It's called the nocebo effect. I guess it's the opposite of a placebo effect. They reference Dr. Shelley Adler, who has studied this phenomena for years, and they said, quote, "Adler argued that SUNS deaths were a prime example of the nocebo effect, which is the dark flip side of the better known placebo effect. Placebo takes its name from a Latin phrase meaning I shall please, while nocebo's Latin antecedent translates as I will be harmful. When we experience the placebo effect, a treatment with no real medical value improves our condition, often in measurable ways because we think it will. With nocebo, the opposite is true. Something that can't really hurt us, such as a mythical demon that supposedly haunts our sleep, could become physically harmful or even fatal if our belief in it is strong enough.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? Like, we can just believe in a demon and it's real?
Well, yeah, that makes the whole Freddy Krueger thing safe. So were these guys having nightmares? Like, is that what their conclusion was?
We'll get to it. So, like I said, a mythical demon? Well, yes. The Hmong people already had an explanation for these deaths. At least some of them did. They believed that it was the work of the Dab Sog, which is like a night demon that sneaks in while you sleep, sits on your chest, and steals your breath.
Scary.
People who survived episodes of sleep paralysis described the exact same feeling. So they would be, shaken awake, pinned down, something heavy pressing on their chest and unable to move or cry out.
Like a scary sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, so every culture kind of has one of these. In the Philippines, they have the batibot, which is a huge tree spirit that crushes sleepers. In Newfoundland, they have the old hag. In Europe, they have the Mara. So everywhere in the world has their own version of a sleep demon.
What's ours?
I don't know what ours is, actually. But the difference that is in most places, it was just a scary story. But in the Hmong and in the Filipino communities of the late 70s and 80s, people were actually dying. So the connection to Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street was that Wes Craven, I guess, was actually reading these stories about these deaths from the newspaper because the newspapers were all reporting about them. So he was seeing all these articles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so he took that and was inspired to write Nightmare on Elm Street. And the strange wave of deaths that happened in the 80s didn't last forever. I guess in 1981, it hit its peak with like 24 deaths that year alone. But over that decade, the official count climbed past 100 cases.
Wow.
And after the mid-80s, the number dropped pretty severely. But by the late 80s, only a few new cases were being reported each year. Still, one too many, though, to me. But researchers noticed that it mostly happened to men who had just arrived in America, usually within the first couple of years. But later groups of Hmong refugees who came like in the 90s and the 2000s didn't experience this same phenomenon. But the sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome didn't disappear completely. I guess in places like the Philippines and Thailand, it still shows up sometimes, but in the US, the whole epidemic was mostly left in the 80s. So yeah, there you have it. A scary ass phenomenon that killed people.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a melatonin tonight.
Yeah.
Or a Benadryl. Let's go see the Hat Man.
Or just don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, there were articles that I read, like newspapers reporting on people that just were so afraid to go to sleep because they're like,
yeah.
So,
oh my God, imagine.
I know.
Like if that happened to you, I would be like, oh my God, I cannot sleep.
I know, girl, but you wouldn't know.
True, I guess. Interesting. Very interesting. I've heard about this before, but never actually knew the true story. So it's so fascinating to hear.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, babies.
Well, I don't think anyone's ready for sleep just yet. So should we get into some obituaries?
Let's do it.
Okay, I have an obituary, and it is unfortunately for a Geoff.
Oh, shit.
This popped up on my TikTok recently. I was telling you about this the other day, about Amanda Jean Caruso.
Yes.
So this was such like a weird universe moment, but I got this video on my For You page the other day of somebody who was talking about they were going to get a second lung transplant. And she was this super cute girl. She was so sweet. And I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. And it said follows you. So I was like, oh, I'm going to follow her back. And so I followed her back, and she was talking about getting ready to go in and get her second lung transplant. And then, unfortunately, the next video I see is somebody talking about how she had passed away. And then I was so sad to hear that because she seemed so
she seems
sweet.
So cute. I know.
And I was like, I went to Instagram and I was like looking, like I'm like fully have DM'd, like I'm just so sad
because close to home.
Yeah, she's just seems like the sweetest girl. And so I thought, what better way to memorialize her than to read her obituary on the show?
Hell yeah.
So this is for Amanda Jean Caruso. It says, Amanda passed away on September 9th, 2025, after her thoughtful and courageous decision to have a second lung transplant at age 28. She's survived by her mother, her father, her siblings, her fiance, and her true love. Future in-laws, which I thought was just so sweet. And then the recently deceased. And so it lists all her loved ones, but I don't want to put them all on blast. I know Amanda liked the show, but I don't know if they did.
Yeah.
Amanda lived a beautiful, full life, which had an impact on so many people close to her in very special ways. As a daughter, a big sister, a fiance, a niece, granddaughter, cousin, friend, and a colleague. Even amidst significant health challenges, Amanda achieved so much in her 28 years. After being diagnosed with a rare lung disease, Amanda received the gift of a double lung transplant at age 17 months. This precious gift of life allowed Amanda several healthier years. When her health again became difficult, she never allowed this to stop her from living and pursuing her dreams. After graduating from high school in 2014, Amanda continued learning in order to find her career. She attended Continental School of Beauty, securing her license as an esthetician, then attended MCC, where she completed an associate's degree in health information technology, and most recently was certified as an oncology data specialist. Amanda worked since age 15, first at Bill Gray's restaurant, after which she held different jobs related to her education. As an esthetician, she worked at Hand and Stone Spa, as a surgical coordinator at Unity Hospital, and most recently at Rochester Regional Health, entering data for the Cancer Tumor Registry. Amanda also poured her heart into her own successful handmade jewelry business, Tiny Woman Creations. For over 2 years, she was officially placed on the organ donation recipient list in August of 2024. Amanda impacted thousands, if not millions, through her bubbly personality on social media. She found joy in creating content since she was 11 years old. Amanda shared stories about her life, including her health journey as she awaited a second lung transplant, right up until she entered the operating room on September 8th to receive the immeasurable gift of donor lungs for a second time. Amanda was an incredible person, a true source of joy, love, positivity, and strength. Our hearts are broken, but we are left with countless wonderful memories. And then it lists the service information. But I mean, it's obviously like it was just one of those things where I feel like it came across my For You page for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was just she seemed like such a doll. And I'm so sorry to her family. And as the obituary community, we will mourn the loss of a very badass, cool Geoff.
Oh, I'm so happy to learn about her, though, through her obituary. That was a beautiful obituary. And I'm so sorry for her family's loss and her community's loss.
Absolutely.
Well, I have an obituary from a Geoff. And it says, "Hi, girlies. It is coming up on 3 years since my great aunt Katie passed away. I thought that sharing her obituary with you would be a fitting way to celebrate her life. She was a woman who left a big impression on everyone she met. While she never married, she was the matriarch of the family and had great nieces and nephews that adored her. My generation played a lot of pranks on her. So many that she stated that no one was allowed to talk at her funeral because she was afraid that it would turn into a roast. To be honest, it would have. Aunt Katie always said she didn't want to live to 100. She got her wish by passing away a month and 3 days before her 100th birthday.
Wow.
Here's her obituary. Catherine, 99, of Fountain Hill, passed away peacefully on August 18th, 2022, at Sakon Valley Manor. Born in Hungary, she was the daughter of the late John and Catherine. She truly experienced the American dream at the age of 14 as she sailed into New York Harbor, past the Statue of Liberty, landing at Ellis Island. Catherine settled in Bethlehem, where she was a sewing machine operator for over 50 years at Sure Fit. She was a member of Holy Ghost Church. There, she helped make pierogies, noodles, and doing anything that benefited the parish. Volunteering at St. Luke's Hospital and helping others was an experience she looked forward to weekly. Catherine's life was one of caring, sharing, and giving. Aunt Katie had a notebook with all of her wishes for when she died. I attached what we found in it, but in case her handwriting is hard to read, here it is, and this made me laugh. To all of you, if you have any problems and don't understand what I wrote, give me a call. I'll be looking down on you or up. Loved you all very much. Thank you for being my family. I am sorry if I hurt anyone. I was far from perfect. Please pray for me. I need it. If I go up to see my Heavenly Father, I'll be at peace. If not, then I'm in trouble. Love, Katie/Catherine. Thank you for taking the time to read this, Amanda. By the way, I pronounced Geoff like Geoff for a long time. I also thought that Phoebe was pronounced phobe. And I totally get that. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your Aunt Katie. She sounds like such a gem. I love her.
Sweetie. We love her. Love her.
Love, love, love her.
All right. You know what else I love, Madison?
What?
Some dumb
ass
criminals.
That's a little different than
usual. Oh my God. I know. We've spun in our coffins. We bitch our obituaries. Now it's time for some dumb
ass criminals.
Okay. All right. We've got a fraud girl.
Ooh.
This just happened.
Oh, shit.
Florida man, believe it or not, arrested at job interview while allegedly impersonating nurse using roommate's credentials.
Oh, shit.
We heard about the lady recently who was fucking gluing people's teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph Thomas Kinney, 55, too old to be doing that, was arrested by officers at the Volusia County Sheriff's Office after a hiring manager at a Florida clinic reported him in August for applying with fraudulent nursing credentials.
Oh, shit.
Apparently, he initially had a license, to practice in Alabama, California, and Florida, which were all revoked in 2022 due to several alarming violations, including diverting drugs from his employer and driving under the influence of drugs, according to the sheriff's office.
Oh, God.
But I guess this manager had actually run into him during a previous interview at a nursing and rehab center in Daytona Beach back in October of 2024. And he was like, I guess his behavior was weird, so they checked it out.
Oh, shit.
And then they didn't really hear anything, but then he applied for another job with that person at a different place, and they were like, you're fucking caught.
Dude, that's like karma action.
He was arrested, and during their investigation, authorities claimed that he had applied for 10 to 15 nursing jobs throughout Central Florida with the same stolen certifications. And he even got hired for 2 jobs, but only held down the jobs for less than a week at a time.
That's scary that he got hired.
Well, the thing was, I guess he stole someone else's
credentials.
Yeah.
God.
I know. And that was from the New York Post.
Oh, brother. Well, I have another driving under the influence. This is from police1.com. This happened last year, November of 2024. And there's pictures. It says a suspected DUI driver was arrested after Arizona deputies say they found him with his finger stuck in a can of White Claw.
I
would never drive. Deputies got a call about a possible DUI driver Saturday, November 23rd. The Yavapai County Sheriff's Office said in a November 27th Facebook post. A deputy was in search of the car and driving into Skull Valley when he spotted a car driving in the opposite direction swerve off the road, the sheriff's office said. The car hit a guardrail and blocked the roadway, deputies said. When the deputy approached the car, the driver was, quote, trying to get his finger out of a White Claw can, the sheriff's office said. After the officer approaches, a few seconds pass before the driver rolls down the window. Body camera footage shared by the sheriff's office shows. The driver fidgets with a can of hard seltzer on his right hand, the video shows. What do you got on your finger there? The officer can be heard saying. The driver says, White Claw, the officer interjects. So what's going on? You okay? I'm totally perfect, the driver says.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. The driver was arrested and charged with multiple DUI counts and criminal damage against Yavapai County Public Works deputies.
You shouldn't have stuck your hand in the can, babe.
I know. Couldn't get it out. I know. White Claw.
Whoa, I'm wasted.
Oh, brother. Well, our dinner just got here. We gotta go.
Oh, I'm a hungry hippo. A hungry himbo. And that's where we're going to leave it for the week. So we'll see you next week with some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass
criminals.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.